bubbles, billionaires, and what it means for silver and gold. Let's start with bubbles. How do you feel about it? Do you think we're living in one of the greatest financial bubbles of all time? Some of the smartest guys in the room, including the billionaires, think that's the case. But we know one thing for sure, there's no bubble in the silver price or the gold price. But everywhere else we look, whether it be the stock market, the real estate market, even the bond market, a lot of the smartest people are seeing, and you're likely seeing as well, that we are in bubble territory. We know unlimited money printing, unlimited debt, unlimited everything has led to asset price appreciation like most of us could never have imagined would occur in our lifetime. Everything except for silver and gold. But is that about to change? And are we living through one of the greatest bubbles of all time? Let's go to our friend Exter's pyramid and see what he can show us about a bubble. When we look at Exter's pyramid, guys, everything above gold and silver, remember, those are the real assets. Those are the base of the entire monetary system. This, of course, is according to John Exter, who worked for the New York Federal Reserve and just died a few decades ago. Everything above gold and silver, the real assets, the base of the system. That would include base money, bank money, government bonds, corporate debt, non-monetary commodities, derivatives, even cryptocurrencies. All of that rests on this base of gold and silver. And when you look at the sheer volume, the sheer size of all those synthetic components, again, base money upwards, in relation to the size of the gold and silver market, it is crazy. Now, I heard someone recently say, what happens when Exter's pyramid gets inverted? That doesn't mean gold and silver go to the top. Gold and silver remain at the bottom, but the pyramid becomes a regular shaped pyramid where all that money that's at the top filters into gold and silver. That means we have tremendously higher prices for gold and silver. Are we in a bubble? That begs the question. Well, hey, let's have some fun. Let's move over to this interesting political cartoon that says, first comes the bubble, then comes the bath. Next one. Okay, there's the stock market. Everyone's out there yelling for encore, encore. And there's the bear, right? And there's the director, and the bear saying, now, right? The bull's out there right now, right? And the bear saying, now, and the director saying, not yet, but your time will soon come. Finally, let's look at this. A fancy hedge fund specializing in highly complex derivatives and exotic financial instruments for discriminating investors. And what's the hedge fund manager saying? Buy gold. Are we seeing that? Let's go back to Exter's pyramid, right? Are we seeing that now? The size of the derivative markets measures in the quadrillions, okay? Remember, a trillion, right? And a quadrillion is 1,000 times a trillion, but a trillion alone is 1,000,000 times 1,000,000. We could be in for major changes in the gold and silver price if and when any of that synthetic components above the gold and silver, just a little bit of that money starts to filter down into the precious metals. Again, imagine this diagram with gold and silver remaining on the bottom, remaining the base, but instead of it being an upside down pyramid, now a right side up pyramid. And when you imagine that, it doesn't take a lot to imagine that we could get tremendously higher silver and gold prices. But what about the billionaires? I promised you some information about that. What are the billionaires saying about silver and gold? Jeffrey Gundlach, right? Double Line Capital, one of the smartest guys in the room, recently said he considered cash and gold as financial markets are displaying, quote, increasingly grabby behavior by investors. Jeffrey Gundlach talks about gold. What about Paul Singer, billionaire, right? Elliott Management. He's moving some of his assets into gold, right? And this isn't Warren Buffett. Everybody, that's the only billionaire, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, that a lot of us know. Guys, there's a lot of non-name brand billionaires out there. We're seeing is an increased interest in their behalf in the silver and gold market. We're going to talk about one last billionaire, but before I do that, I want to say thanks to our channel sponsors, First Mining Gold. You can learn more about them at firstmininggold.com. Fortuna Silver, you can learn more about them at fortunasilver.com. And of course, our friends at Pimbex, who you want to check out next time you're thinking about buying yourself some silver, gold, or platinum, like some of the billionaires are doing. Go check out Pimbex. They've got great prices, great selection, and great service, but you need to discover that for yourself. Throw them into the mix next time you're online shopping for precious metals. I think you'll find what I found with Pimbex. You always get more metal for your money. Who's the final billionaire that we want to talk about today? How about Stanley Druckenmiller? Everybody knows Stanley Druckenmiller, and he's been moving some assets into gold-oriented investments, more specifically into gold mining stocks. But nonetheless, we're seeing the billionaires, maybe they're joining us here in the basement. Maybe what we're talking about is making sense to them. When this Exter's pyramid does invert, when there are cracks in the wall, right? And it always happens, doesn't it? I know every day goes by and it feels like everything's normal, all that normalcy bias or recency bias. But if we look back at history, guys, we know that financial cracks will emerge. It's like the magma under the surface of the earth, right? Eventually it finds its way. And we have big fundamental issues in the system right now. Do you think it's safe to say that math shows no forgiveness on the altar of truth? And the math behind the current financial system can certainly be called into question. After any big party, and I'm telling you, for the last 30, 40 years in this country, we've had quite a party, right? We've borrowed money like there's no tomorrow, spent like drunken sailors. But doesn't there always come a hangover? Don't the hens always come home to roost? Hey, you need to make up your mind for yourself. But when I look at all the evidence, when the hens do come home to roost, I want to make sure that I'm protecting at least part of my wealth with precious metals. Thank you for joining me today. You are the most important part of Ron's Basement. I hope you enjoyed your time here, and I'll look forward to seeing you again soon.